A huge moo to the herd, and welcome back to our playthrough of Rise of Industry. I'll just give us a quick recap of where we got to in the last episode. We had decided we were going to grow the town of Chillingham by providing them with the goods they required. Of all the goods that were available, the most profitable seemed to be wine. So to that end, we have started our wine production by placing an orchard, which is growing grapes, a water siphon, which was providing water to allow us to grow the grapes, and a distillery, which takes the grapes and turns them into wine, which will all be shipped to our warehouse. And from the warehouse, when we set it up, it will then be delivered to Chillingham. Now, if we look at Chillingham and see how much wine they actually need. Now, if we can find the liquor store, not liquor store, is it liquor store? Yep, the liquor store. The easiest way to do it is if you just press tab, you'll get the labels of your buildings. So the hardware store, the wholesaler, the liquor store, and the farmer's market. So if we click on the liquor store, now we can see that they require 2 wine every 15 days, which means we need to be providing them with 4 wine every 30 days to get our month cycle. If we provide Chillingham with the full amount, it will help to grow the town further. And the more the town grows, the more shops that will appear in this area, and the more opportunities we will have to sell our goods and make money. The end game, or the end goal we're playing for, is to build a car, which requires lots of different components from different areas, etc. So it's really important that we get a solid foundation in now, so we can get the cash that we need to be able to achieve the end game. So without further ado, our goal for today is just to ensure that Chillingham has all the wine they need to get down and partay. We'll also look at our neighbour here. If I take us down, have I gotten lost? I've gotten lost. Have a look at our neighbours and decide, is there anything that we can provide them that we have that they don't? So, for instance, we know that Colne is planning on ceramics and ovens, but they may not have the goods that we require. So it will give us an opportunity to explore trade routes, and if we can't find anything that they need, well, simply enough, we'll just put some trade routes in to ship stuff across the area. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is we'll have a look in our warehouse and see how much wine we've actually got. And the answer to that question is none. The reason being, my brewery is not running at the moment. Now, why is that? Well, we're still waiting for the grapes to be delivered. So if we look inside here, you'll find we've got water, but the grapes haven't actually been delivered to the warehouse yet. The minute they're delivered to the warehouse, which it looks like they have just been delivered to the warehouse, they'll be taken from there and deposited in the brewery and the distillery. Once we've reached 6 grapes, the wine will start. And you can see it takes 50 days to produce 3 wine. So we're obviously going to need a few more breweries and distilleries. The more breweries and distilleries we produce, the more orchards we require to produce grapes. The more grapes that we produce. I really haven't got. I think I've got someone else's teeth in today. It's not very good. The more grapes that we want to grow, the more water that we require. Now, one thing we can do, if we wanted to, is to just pop more farms down. But probably a more effective way is if we go to the tech tree and go to fields and harvesters, you'll see that we've got some options for research here. One of those is to increase the amount of orchard fields. Another one is also to increase the amount of coastal harvesters, which is our water siphons. So they're the things we're going to focus on at the moment. We're going to increase the amount of orchard fields, and we're also going to increase the amount of coastal harvesters. Now, the first thing it will do, it will add 50 farm storage and 50 gather storage. Now, what this basically means is the warehouse at the moment is responsible for storing all of our goods, and that will store up to 74 units of each good, which is great. So if we get a surplus of goods, they'll store up in the warehouse, so we've got a bit of a buffer. But if that reaches 74, what will then happen is the gatherers themselves will have a natural capacity of 99, which it can store stuff on. So you shouldn't really lose any goods. The research we're currently undertaking as part of the increase in fields is to increase that storage by 50 for the farms and 50 for the gatherers. So that's what we're doing at the moment. If you look over here on the right, you can see how much we're going to be investing in our research and development. So we've currently got $100,000 per month being invested, which impacts the amount of time it takes for a good to be, for a research option to be completed. If I increase that to 250,000, you see that drops down to 19 days now. And obviously if we increase that to a million, it goes to 5 days and then rapidly gets through. I'm going to keep it at 250,000 at the moment. We could leave it at $1 million. We've got about $8 million from our initial loan, but the goal is to actually get that loan cleared initially and then looking at investing back into our corporation. So our research is ticking over nicely at the moment. Let's see how our wine is doing. You can see from the green circle around the wine glass that we're actually now producing. So we must have got 6 grapes in there, and in 50 days time, or less, because you can see from here it's already under production, we'll have our first batch of wine. That will then be delivered to our warehouse, and from the warehouse we can then ship that to the store. Now, because of a quirk of my personality, I actually want to get a bit of a buffer. So we're going to wait for 2 cycles, and that basically will mean that we have 6 wine sitting in our warehouse, which should give us 45 days worth of wine to be sold, which will mean that we're fully supplying them, which will then change chilling them from currently town prosperity stagnating to hopefully town prosperity growing. That little ping you saw was an event, and it's basically saying that if we want to build Zeppelin fields, they're going to cost 25% less, which is quite nice. Ooh, R&D alert. Right, our first storage option is now complete, so farm storage has now gone up by 50. So if I go to my farm, go to storage, it's now sitting at 148. So it's increased by 50. Okay. One thing to bear in mind is I'm pretty sure, while it says plus 50, apparently it's not 50, it's an additional 50%. So, hence the reason for the disparity in math there. Right, I'll just excuse me. Distillery's chugging away, and I want to look at whether we want to put another orchard in. So we're going to need the grapes anyway, because we want to increase that. So I think it is best if we drop a new farm in. So we'll go to orchard, and we'll rotate this so it lines up with the other one. Oh, keep on spinning it until we're both all dizzy. Right. To go into grid view, if you press F8, you can see that it actually spins the map so you get this top-down view, which is very handy for placing buildings. So I know that the fields are 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So a field will sit nicely in there. And we'll just drop our first field there. Second and final field here. We just need to connect that up with a road. Like so. One thing with roads is you notice that I've joined this all up in terms of squares, they're all lined up. But that road isn't actually connected, and you can see from the graphics that it just curves away there. You've got to overlap onto the road to make it connect, like so. Right, so that is our second orchard now connected. Now our water siphon, I don't want to build anything at the moment, is producing 1 water per siphon every 10 days. So we're producing 3 water every 10 days. So for a 30-day supply, we're producing 9 units of water. Now our orchards require 2 units every 30 days per field. So for us, we've got 3 fields, so that's 6 every 30 days. And I've also just bought another orchard online, which has got 3 fields as well. So that's another 6. So that's 12. So I'm going to need to increase the amount of water siphons I've got. Now one option I've got is I can just move them around this lake here, which is all good. But another option is to actually terraform. And if I terraform, just wait for the autosave to finish. Oh, let's get it out of top-down mode. Sorry. I'm probably doing this wrong. Ah, there we are. I thought I had it right. Okay, that's not quite what I want. There's a concentration on my face as I try and get this right. Down we go. Yeah, that's roughly what I want. Okay, I've just put in our little lake here so that we can just run an additional water siphon along here, put the additional pumps in, or little siphonettes we'll call them, and we can increase the amount of water that we're producing. So let's get that done. Again, making sure that this circle that's around the building is covering the area that we're going to be using. For some reason I decided it would be more sensible to just drop these around that way. Don't know why. I think I must have had a brain fart moment when I decided to install that one. Oh, you want the blue bit into the water. So 1, 2, 3. So we now have 2 water siphons producing 9 each. And our orchard fields has just increased. So that means we can increase the amount of fields we've got by 2. So again, we'll need 10 water every 30 days for both. Right, am I producing enough? Well, if we decided that it was 9 water every 30 days and I've got 2 of them, that's 18, so that's plenty. So let's increase our orchard fields, and to do that, go into the orchard, go to the overview tab, and you'll find a button at the bottom that says add field. Bop, bop, and do the same for orchard number 2. Our goal here is to maximise the amount of grapes that we're producing so that we can increase the amount of distilleries we've got, which will hopefully allow us to produce enough wine to supply to Chillingham. Now, we haven't actually made any money since we've been playing this. According to this, we're in month 6 of year 1, and all we've been doing is spend, 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 spend. So let's check our warehouse out. We now have 3 units of wine, and we want 6, so we're very close to finishing off that. Once that's done, we'll start shipping that to Chillingham. Meanwhile, just for aesthetics and because it's driving me batty, I'm going to reposition this water siphon. I never thought I was this bad until I started playing these types of games. Then all the monsters come out. Right, water siphon. Put you around the right way this time. Right next to you. There. Drop you there. Okay. And we've now increased our gatherer storage as well. So if we click on one of the water siphons again, Storage is now up to 148, whereas before it was at 99. Alright, and if I check the brewery, it has just finished. So sitting in here should now be 6 cases of wine, tons of wine. Pick an arbitrary unit. Right, wine I think is a tier 1 product. There it is. So we'll click that one. This is in the destinations tab. We'll set our destination to commercial because we want to sell it. And the Chillingham liquor store. That's it. Now what will happen is trucks will depart from warehouse 1. You can see them here. With the casks on the back. It's obviously a really fine wine. It comes in a cask. And it will go to the Chillingham liquor store. And from there, we'll see our supply going up. And then every 15 days, that'll be reduced by 2. And we'll get the money for that. And once that starts to happen, we'll check on Chillingham and see if we're growing the town. Now we just had an event come up. Union strike. Unsatisfied unions have caused your workers to go on strike. And basically what that means is if I click on my distillery now, I'm going to get 50% less production for my wine, which is a pain. But once this clears, then we should be back up to speed. So, my liquor store, 15 days have just gone, and the 6 units are delivered. Just notice that's been reduced to 4, and now we're fully supplied. So if we go to Chillingham, you'll see now the town prosperity is now growing, which is great. That's exactly what we were trying to achieve. We want the town to grow, more profit opportunities. Right, speaking of more profit opportunities, let's have a look at what else Chillingham wants. Go for the liquor store first. Now, they want brandy. Okay, so what does brandy require? Brandy requires wine. Well, we're producing wine. Not enough at the moment, but we will be increasing the production. And bottles. Okay, so what do bottles require? Unsurprisingly, they require glass. Okay. What does glass require? Well, that requires sand and coal. See, Chillingham has sand, but it doesn't have coal. So that's something we'd need to figure out. Let's have a look at our neighbours here. The Bodmin Planning Office. That's got coal and it's got sand. So theoretically, what we could do is we could buy a permit to create stuff in the Bodmin Planning Office area. And we could then use the coal, use the sand, and produce bottles. We could then ship those bottles to a production area here to tie up with the wine and make brandy. What will that actually get us? So if I was to produce 1 brandy every 15 days, I would make 1.31 million. At the moment, I'm supplying 2 wine every 15 days, and that's making me 90,000. So that's a big leap in profit. The only downside, unfortunately, is there's going to be lots of transport costs. However, for our example, it might be worthwhile doing this because we could then set up trade routes and such like. So, first thing we need to do is we're going to be building factories and everything else. So you've got 2 permits you can buy. A logistical permit and a full build permit. Now, the logistical permit allows you to build stations. I think it allows you warehouses. I'm not quite sure about that. But basically, it's your transport hub, if you like. So, one example I've seen of people using it is if you want to sell your goods to the state and you don't currently have a border with the state, and these are the edges of the map, you could get a logistical permit for an area, build a trade station there, and it would ship out that way. Now we're going to be doing a lot of stuff, so let's look at buying a full build permit. That just basically gives us full rights in the area. Now it's going to cost us 3.8 million. We're at 6.32 million at the moment. It's a bit pricey, but I think it's worth it for us. So I'm going to click yes. And now we now have full rights to build whatever we like in the area. So what do we need? We need coal and we need sand. Now sand, much in the same way as water, comes from one of these coastal ones. And coal is here. Again, I'm going to use the same trick as I did before and do a bit of terraforming. And I'm going to just create a lake. If it lets me. Oh, no. We're not going to do that quite straight away because it's a bit pricey for me. So we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. I'll drop a sand collector in. And we're going to pop you that way. I want to get as much of a straight edge as I can. Alright. So sand collector here. We'll drop our little sand scoops here. Now because I researched the coastal ones, we can drop 5 sand scoops down. We'll connect these up in a very haphazard fashion. Wibbly wobbly. And then we'll connect our road up. Again, remembering to go over the edges so that we get everything. Alright, the next one we want is coal. Alright, gatherers. Coal mine. Perfect. Again, one of the things to be bearing in mind is that you want to ensure that all your buildings are within the build area, which is this circle that's highlighted. Now the thing with the mines is they're bigger. As you can see, significantly bigger. So what we need to do, if I've positioned this right, got to go near coal. So that one's near coal. Okay, great. How am I going to do this? Will that do it? Will that clear it? Should do. Yeah. And it means I can pull it further away. Right, so that's going to be my first one. And then second one here. Third one. Right. So that's my 3. Let's get my road connected up. Perfect. Right, so we're now producing coal. So we've now got sand, we've got coal. What do we need for glass? Ooh, there's been an earthquake at my coal mine, which means I've now got -75 production. If I only just put it down and I've got an earthquake already. I should have sent a geological survey in first. Right, so glass. Let's go back to Chillingham. We're currently down to 1.2 million, which is kind of scary. But we are bringing in 183,000 every month. So our money will go up as long as we don't spend any more. But if we go to our liquor store and then go to brandy, bottles, glass. Right, glass is made at the glassworks and smelter. So if I go to my factories, you'll see that the glassworks and smelter is not there. Am I being incredibly... Oh, there it is. I am being incredibly blind. So I need to research at least one recipe to unlock that. So if I go to our research tree and go to glass and metallurgy, can't pronounce that, you'll see we need to research that. It's going to cost us 400,000. So let's just get that running. Meanwhile, we'll have a check. We've still got that union strike going on, which is a pain. That's the warehouse. That's the one I wanted. So there's more wine coming out. Does probably mean, yeah, as suspected, we're now fully demanded. So we've missed a cycle or two because of that strike. Grr. But if I check the warehouse, we should now start seeing we've got a massive surplus of grapes. So it's worthwhile spending the money to put an additional brewery and distillery down. The grapes will be delivered there, and we can produce more wine. We don't want to overdo it with the wine. One of the problems you'll have is if you oversupply, you'll drive down the price. If you drive down the price, you're not actually going to be making that much money, which is a bit of a problem. So, if you excuse me. Right. So our second brewery and distillery is now running. We have 369,000, so we don't want to spend any more money for a while because we'll run out otherwise. And I've just realised I haven't actually connected that road up, so oh, I have. So what's the problem? Construction alert. Cannot reach hub, sand harvester. Wow, I didn't connect it there. Just fell short. Fixed. Job's done. And see how little trucks come off. No, apparently they appear from under the sand. It's a bit worrying. And they'll start storing stuff up there. Now once we've got a bit more cash, what we want to do is to build ourselves a warehouse in here. And then we will need to build our what is it called? Glassworks and smelter. And then we'll be able to... Oh, geez, I'm really getting all the bad ones. My upkeep's just gone up by 20% as well. Talk about bad luck. Yes, as I was saying, we'll get our glassworks and smelter in. We'll start making glass. And from that, we'll then start making some bottles. We will then, the plan B, ship the bottles down to an area around here. And we'll need to increase the amount of brewery and distilleries we've got. To increase the amount of wine we're producing. So currently producing 6 every 50 days. We want that to go up more because we want to keep supplying Chillingham whilst we're putting the brandy together to try and get the best of both worlds. Right, so now our factories are back up to full, finally. We've got plenty of grapes. So I don't think we need any more orchards at the for the time being. We did make 281,000 last month, which is good. So that's going to start pushing us back up to the black. And it's that R&D alert. Yep, we've finished our coastal harvesters. Well, we knew that because we were able to put more of the sand shovels down. Not sure how we're doing for water. Let's have a quick look. I've got no... I do have some units of water stored, so we're about balanced for water. I don't think we need much more at the moment. We will need it later if we increase the distilleries, but for the time being, we're good. Our glass will be finished very soon, so again, that will help the monies flow in. And meanwhile, we're still partially supplying them. Come on guys, deliver some more stuff. I need all the money. And we're going to miss it on this cycle as well. So that will be fully demanded in a second. Yep, that's now fully demanded. And if we check on Chillingham itself, oh, we're still growing. That's good. Ooh, glass is now finished. Now, has Chillingham started to build their own industries yet? Let's have a look. Wholesaler. Nope. One way to see if a town has actually started to build its own industries. Let's see. I know. Aha. If we go to Colne, they've now got sand extractors. So if I go to the wholesaler, I can buy sand from them. Now, the sand will cost a lot more to buy from the wholesaler than if you produced it yourself. So that's something you want to bear in mind. Whilst it may be convenient to go and buy it from the wholesaler, you are going to be running at, well, not necessarily at a loss. You will be spending more money than you would if you actually produce it yourself. So if I check my sand collector, we're building up a nice stock there. And our coal mine, again, we're getting some stuff in there. Right. So, what's next? Right. My big concern at the moment is we're producing a lot of grapes. But we're not actually using them for much. So, if I see how much another distillery is going to cost me, 600,000. Can't really afford that at the moment. Which is a pain. So I managed to make a loss. Probably be my research and development. And the fact I didn't produce any wine. Drat. Okay. So that's my first batch there been produced. And I've got another batch just being produced here. So we'll make some money this month. One of the problems with any game like this is you can expand too rapidly. And then get some bad luck with the events, and you can be, a bit stuck for cash. But I think we'll be good. I hope we'll be good. It's all that terraforming I did at the start. That's where the problem is. Terraforming is good, but it's also expensive. So you might want to bear that in mind if you try and do some. Where is our liquor store? That's the one I wanted. Right, you can see we've now got 3 stored. So on December the 16th, we should be making some money. Just in time. And we just made 180,000. So we can look at about 360,000? Yeah. And that's the unit price. So that's 90,000. So 180,000 for each sale, because we're supplying 2. So we're good, I hope. And look, we've got money. Not a great deal, but we've got some money. Alright, let's see what industries have been popping up at our other towns. So Colne, they have decided to build some sand extractors. What are they looking for in the long run? Ceramics, well, that's why they need the sand. They also require glass. Wonder if that's an opportunity for us. Because they don't have any coal. I do. Might be an opportunity there later on in the line. What else have we got? Byland. Byland wants burgers and chicken soup. So they're going to be producing predominantly farms in this area. Hence the reason the water siphon's gone in. What's Worsted want? They've put a lumberyard in. Because they're going to be able to brew wooden barrels. Hence the reason for the lumberyard. Books. Lumberyard again. And beer. Oh, right, no. But they do need the wooden barrels for it. So, again, all ties in for them. It's almost like this AI knows what it's doing. It's one up on me. And what's Brandon doing? Right, they're going to make light bulbs and rubber tubes. So they've got a copper mine for the copper wire required on that one. And I'm guessing at some point they will have oil, which is required for... What is the oil required for actually? Is it for the light bulbs? No, copper wire, which requires copper, unsurprisingly. And glass, which requires sand and coal, which we've got. Rubber tubes requires rubber, which requires raw rubber, which requires water. So why have they built an oil depot then? That is for Brandon. Oh, that's very interesting. Is that in the Brandon border? I have no idea. Oh well. Right, we've got a production alert. My warehouse is full at Chillingham. I bet that's full of grapes. It is indeed. Not much we can do. I'd rather not dump the grapes. So what we're going to do is we're going to rely on the storage at my orchards to just take the overflow. Now they can store 148 per slot. So I've got 14 sitting in that one. and I've got 10 sitting in that one. So I've got some time. So we'll be good there. Okay. Well, I think we'll end this video here. We're making some progress. We've made some mistakes. But hey, it's a game. You're meant to make mistakes. But we do have some good stuff going on. We've got our orchards producing grapes, which are then being converted into wine. And we've got all the way over here. We've got our sand collector and our coal mine, which will eventually produce glass, which will then eventually produce bottles. We'll then send those bottles all the way over to here and start making brandy and see if we can make some serious money. We've got a bit of a cash flow issue at the moment because we spent lots of money on terraforming, etc. But we can rectify those in the next video. So that just leaves me to say thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you dislike this video, please feel free to click dislike. I accept any sort of feedback. If you've got any comments, please leave them below. Is there anything I could be doing better, etc., or is there anything you'd like to see? And if you want to see more videos, please feel free to subscribe. I aim to get these out on a regular basis, and hopefully you'll join me as we make our way through to the end game. Until then, I wish you all a very good day.